won't stop, no, there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, no, there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, no, there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, won't stop, won't stop, won't stop, won't stop. Beat won't stop, no, there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, no, there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, no, there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, won't stop, won't stop. Beat won't stop, no, there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, no, there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, no, there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, won't stop, won't stop.
100% sure that's gonna look. I'm gonna have to get used to that one of these days. I'm gonna figure out exactly the position the phone needs to be at when it's on the wide angle, just so you can see me, so I know that there's not a lot of empty space with my head. Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Matt, and I live in a van. I don't know if I like that as a starter. Today is, what, day 27 of full-time van life so far. I did my entry into the 30 days of van life, which was just wanting to get outside because it was a beautiful day this morning, and it was. Went for a walk in Fish Creek Park and enjoyed that weather. And then we came over, I think by we, I mean me and the cats, over to a library that I didn't even know existed. I've lived in this city pretty much my entire life. I didn't even know this library was here. And I did a bunch of video editing. I edited my review for Red Notice, and I did some work on some vlog entries. But I still need to get my inverter installed so that I can do the exporting process in the van, because it still takes forever. I mean, I've figured out how to do movie reviews, which are short. I figured out how to export them in a more efficient fashion. But when it comes to the vlog entries, when they're like 20 to 25 minutes in length, those are going to be long exports no matter what. So now we're just hanging out here in the parking lot. I moved Lucky to the far end of the parking lot. This is one of those libraries that's also attached to a YMCA, and it's a Saturday just it's almost 3 in the afternoon. And I think the Y closed. The parking lot's empty. When we first pulled in here, it was full. Now there's barely anybody here. There's a few people in the library still, but anyways. Moved Lucky to the far end, and I'm actually doing a little bit of repair work, not mechanical work on him. So this isn't like an official entry in The World Is Your Garage series, but I guess it could be a The World Is Your Garage light. And I'll show you what I'm doing in a minute. I'm just inside here staying warm. We're running the van to charge the batteries because we don't have solar yet. I put the vent visors on yesterday, and they look great. I love them. We had them open all night. Granted, it was warmer last night, but still we had ventilation across both sides. I didn't have to worry about it if it was gonna start raining in the middle of the night or anything. But when I put the vent visor on the passenger side, in true Chevy fashion, it peeled off a bunch of the paint on the door. So, let me see if I can show you. I've taped the outside of the window with what I had on hand, and I've actually started spray painting just the section that got exposed. It was quite a big section. It was probably about this. This is a sandwich. It was probably about this long. And so I just put a second coat on, and I'm leaving 20 minutes in between coats. I figured we started early enough. I don't know how many coats I'm going to do until I'm satisfied. And again, I've said it before multiple times on my channel, that sort of stuff, that's not going to be pretty, but it's going to be functional. At least the bare metal will be covered by hopefully 5 or 6 coats, because there is snow in the forecast in like the next day or 2, I believe. Waiting for the coats to dry, having some lunch, charging the batteries. And then I'm thinking what I might do today is we might go to Canadian Tire and spend some, if not all, of the very thoughtful gift card that Des, one of my subscribers, gave me when I first moved into the van. Yeah, I'm thinking we're gonna go over to Canadian Tire and spend some of that. I would love to get some more of, show ya, some more of this that I used for the handle, this black piping. I want to put it up here so that I can hang a towel here, because right now, like this towel here, it's normally on this hook, but in transit, meh. So I would like to get some more of that piping if it's available, to just build a little hanging rack. I could probably find something maybe a little cheaper at the dollar store, but aesthetically that will match what's sort of going on in Lucky the best, right? And then I also may get some actual rubber mats for the front, because if the snow's coming, the floor in the Chevy is like a rubber mat. If you've watched me take stuff, like take my seats out and whatnot, you've seen the rubber mat, and I actually removed the whole mat when I did the initial cleaning of it. It all came out. But there is a spot where the rubber part of the step, it's like this molded snap-in part that goes into the step when you open your door. And then that kind of goes over the rubber of the mat, but you can get water in there easy. So I'm thinking if I just get some pretty generic floor mats and just throw them down there for my feet, then we shouldn't have a problem with water getting in there. I've mentioned before I wanted to get a rubber mat for this area right here, actually where you're sitting right now. That's where my camera is. But I've moved my cooler here, and that has effectively freed up the space so I can actually travel from the driver's seat to the living space of Lucky now, which is really cool and a lot easier. I've just been stepping over my cooler, and then if I go out, I've just been going out this side door, which led me to think, well, I need a rubber mat for this area. But I like this setup much better. I didn't think the cooler would fit here initially. I moved it today, and I was like, oh, dang. Fits perfectly. Here, check it out. See? Right here. That's kind of perfect. Because now when we close the curtain, we still have access to our essentially refrigerator. And I still have access to the garbage can back here. Super easy. And when I want to get rid of the garbage, we can still open the door and whatnot. So we'll see how this goes for now. And yeah, this keeps this area clean when I don't have the keepsake box here. One of these days I'll finish those videos too. I actually had something else planned for today that I wanted to do as sort of like a creative effort for something on the channel. That'll have to wait because, and I'm being a big baby about this, I still could have done it. But I sliced my finger open last night. I mentioned it in my 30 days of van life video. I had a cheap knife in my pocket and I reached in to grab my keys last night and the blade was out. I'll show you the knife. It's this thing here. So I got it to kind of replace my Spyderco, which I still haven't found. I don't know if I've mentioned before, but I lost that knife. It's either in Lucky somewhere that I'm not looking, or it's at Sanctuary, or anywhere in between the two. So I picked this knife up and it was really cool. It was a cheap little knife, flips out, awesome, right? Just like any other knife, but I don't know if it's spring loaded or it's some sort of tension in here, but that's how it was in my pocket and I didn't even notice it. I mean, I guess all things considered, this could have ended much worse. I could have tripped and castrated myself. But yeah, so I reached in to grab my keys and not one part of me thought that the knife would be open. Why would I? And so when I felt the pain, my immediate thing was like, what the hell is on my keys that is causing me this much pain? And I was able to pull the keys out. I saw my finger was bleeding, and then I looked into my pocket and the blade was out. I was able to close it, pull this out, and that's just, I don't know, clearly not a pocket knife anymore. Or I'm gonna see if I can tighten the Torx head screws here and maybe increase the tension on that a little bit, because that just pops out a little too easy. So it's bad. So like last night it would not stop bleeding. I put peroxide on it, which I know people are like, don't do that, but I've always done it and it's worked wonders for me. I got peroxide on it, I cleaned it all up, and I was able to get, what did I put? I put gauze on it, and then I wrapped it with a Band-Aid while I slept. And when I woke up, of course, the gauze had stuck to it, so I had to pull that off really quick, and that hurt like a son of a bee, and it started bleeding again immediately, and I couldn't tell how bad it was. So then I got some polysporin, and I put that on a Band-Aid, put that on, and then I rewrapped it with gauze on the outside of the Band-Aid. It was a whole thing. And either way, I took it off after I was done editing in the library, and it's a good cut. Like, I don't know where the skin went, and it has stopped bleeding, but it's yuck. Ugh. Makes me a little concerned that it's not going to heal the greatest, but yeah, that's a quick update on that. I'll go show you what I'm doing outside. Okay, so I don't know exactly how well you're going to be able to see it anymore, because I've already, like I said, put 2 coats on, but it was like from here all the way back to there, peeled off, so all of that. I mean, at least it was a clean peel off, like the paint had just chipped like right up here at the front, and that's where all the moisture had gone up and just lifted the paint right away. No rust, just nice clean bare metal. But yeah, now we're just gonna slap coat number 3 on there and start another 20-minute timer.
Stop it now, I mean it.
Okay, I always do this, right? I think I get an idea in my head and I'm like, I'm gonna go there, I'm gonna get it. And then I get there and I see the prices and I'm like, man, I bet I could find this cheaper at a whole bunch of other places. So, I don't know. Number one, the piping to make the rack for my towel, I'm pretty friggin' sure it's much cheaper at Home Depot. And where I plan on sleeping tonight, there is one fairly close by. So we'll go there and check that out first before pulling the trigger here. That seemed quite expensive. And in terms of the car mats, I mean, there was a nice ones in there for like 40 bucks. Here's the other thing. I don't need two, right? I very rarely have a passenger. So at Bianca Moore's, the place that I got the knife that brutalized my finger, they had car mats as well for much cheaper. Like, this is just rubber that catches water. I don't think it's gonna hurt me, so that might be worth going back there and checking out them for a floor mat. And I mean, I got this gift card, I know, but we're gonna get in lucky. We're gonna go to the car wash right now just to vacuum out the floor where my feet go, and probably the rest of the house. And then we will rip over to Home Depot and see what they got. Good morning. I was wrong. They're cheaper at Canadian Tire. I went to Home Depot and all the little parts were not much more expensive, but a little bit. And then when I went back to Canadian Tire, I went to a different Canadian Tire that was closer to where the Home Depot was. They were closed. Apparently that one location closes an hour earlier than all the other Canadian Tires in the city. So just decided to call it a night. Watched a movie, Paranormal Activity, Next of Kin. Yeah, that's real smart. Watch a horror movie inside your van in the middle of the night. Just kidding, it was pretty bad, so it had its moments. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do a review on it or not. But now today, I am hopefully going to get those parts. We're gonna get that railing up and maybe rip over to Bianca Moore's and get some cheap floor mats for the van. So that is the plan. Let's not waste any more time and let's just do it. All right, so apologies if the lighting starts getting really crazy. The sun is directly behind me. I thought this would be a good place to go over the piping, but I'm not moving, so that was actually really cool. I checked my Canadian Tire app, and I'm a huge guy that when it comes to like collecting points and whatnot when it comes to these stores. That's one of the other reasons that I usually shop at Superstore for groceries and whatnot. But on my Canadian Tire app, they're still archaic where you have to go and activate your offers. Get it together, Canadian Tire. Nobody's got time for that. But anyways, there was an offer for 30 times the points on all SodaStream purchases and 20 bucks back for $80 spent. So we spent the $50 gift card and I spent the extra $30, and we got all the stuff to make, I guess we're just gonna call it the towel rack that we're gonna put up here, right? All the piping, which is what you saw in the last shot there. And then I was also able, to exchange 2 of my empty tanks. So I carry 3 tanks with me at all times. I love this SodaStream. I think I mentioned it before. If you haven't seen that video where I mentioned it before, these things are great. And it's 20 bucks when you exchange, as opposed to, I think it's $35 when you just buy one of these brand new. So I've got one in my SodaStream now, and now I've got 2 backups, which is awesome. And then they just came out with these, which are actual Pepsi ones. One of my subscribers said her dad tried it. Lindsay, my cousin, actually tried the diet one. She said it was eh. I'm imagining this is gonna be eh as well. The thing with SodaStream is it's not real pop, right? But it is like at least half the calories, which is kind of cool. For somebody like me that just sucks back sugar, kind of an important thing. So I got 2 Pepsi, and I got myself a Dr. Pete, which is their Dr. Pepper ripoff, because that is going to be used to make some awesome Christmas drinks, which we will get into later. Oh, got one more piece of the piping in here. So I'm going to put this all together. Oh no! I forgot to buy screws to mount it to the white trim piece up here. I have a bunch of screws in the back, but I think they might be too long because this board is quite thin. That's got to be, actually, let's do it this way, is, yeah, 3/4 inches thick. I don't know that I have any screws that are that small. All right, so what we'll do is we'll put this all together, and then I will look at my screws, and if I have to, I'll go back into the store. So yeah, these things are super cool. This was another thing that I got from another VanLifer that I follow. He did this because he used to work with it, I guess. He had a job with pipe fitting or something. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks really cool. And it is what my handle on the door is made out of. I use self-tapping screws on that one. And there's wires and stuff up there. I don't know about that. So yeah, I just got 1/2 inch of this. It's just called black pipe is how you can look it up on like Canadian Tire's website or Home Depot. And it's usually for gas, but yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna, it's a little grimy. So if this is something that you're considering doing in your build or wherever you may want to do something like this, what I got, and this is another thing, their app said that they had in stock 3 24-inch sections of like pipe like this. I could not find it. There wasn't even a bin that had the price on it. So whatever, I didn't feel like wasting anybody's time because this will make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. So I got 3 6-inch sections of this pipe and then 2 of these couplers. Now remember, these are all 1/2 inch. You just screw them in. Since we're not actually sending gas through, it doesn't have to be super tight. So I'm not gonna worry about using a wrench or anything. See, okay, and I will point out this, it's nicer to get them from Canadian Tire because they come in these plastic bags with the price tags on the bag, whereas at Home Depot, when I bought the one that's on my door, the price tag, they're not in bags, they're just the pipe, and the price tags are on the pipe. Bit of a pain in the ass to get those off, just saying. Yes, I could use Goo Gone, but that's just more cost. Okay, so now we've got that together, right? Then what you need, and I got 2 of these, the little 90-degree elbow ones, those guys there. All right, so now we've got the ends on. And then you need these little guys, which I don't even know what these ones were called. I think they're called 1/2-inch close. Yeah, they'll go in here. So they're threaded all the way down. One in there, one in the bottom one, or the left one, or the right one, depending on how you're looking at it. And then you need these, which are called, I think they're called flanges. The phalanges, get the phalanges. But I mean, it's pretty obvious what these are, right? These are they're actually, they say ground mount or whatever. They are our wall mount pieces. And then they screw in the other side. Now we have a towel rack. I need to see if I have screws for it. So I'm gonna go look, and then if I have to, I'll go back into the store and get a little box of screws, and then we'll finish this up.
Beat won't stop, now there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, now there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, now there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, won't stop, won't stop, won't stop, won't stop. Beat won't stop, now there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, now there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, now there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, won't stop, won't stop. Beat won't stop, now there's just no stopping it. The beat won't stop, now there's just no stopping it.
There we go. And she's in. I did have some self-tapping screws left over. I just had them in the back, in the garage of the van. And they were the same screws that I used to attach the ceiling panels. Right, so perfect. Didn't have to spend any more money. They went right in. They were a little bit longer than the board, but there's obviously some room back there because they didn't push the board out, which is awesome. And that is on there super solid. And now I'm realizing this is a white towel. I should probably wipe these down before I start dragging this back and forth on there too much, but that is perfect. Oh, I forgot to put my little matte license plate back up. I'll have to do that. But that's it for this one, guys. Nice and simple, just sort of what's going on. I do need to probably touch up the paint a little bit more. I ended up putting 5 coats on there and it looks good. Again, it's covering the metal, so if the snow decides to blow in the next day or two, we're covered that way. Glad I got that done. I'm glad I was able to update with you guys with a few things that are going on, and we got this guy installed, which is awesome. I've actually been wanting that for a long time, and the SodaStream was a nice surprise. Until the next one, guys, just go out there, be happy, be creative, be yourselves, and most importantly, be positive, and I will see you all in the next one, which might be a Christmas special.
Stop.
Stop.
Stop.